First tonight, ambulance bosses have apologised after a court heard that paramedics left a man who'd been knocked unconscious and suffered a fractured skull.
Michael Caine was attacked after talking to a stranger's girlfriend outside a late-night bar in Nottingham. Now, the court was told that Mr Caine regained consciousness and made it back to his hotel. But when paramedics were called, they decided he wasn't seriously injured. Our social affairs correspondent Jeremy Bull reports.
It was all over in seconds. Michael Caine was punched in the face and left unconscious, footage shown in court today. His attacker, Ricky Scott, had previous convictions for robbery and violence. Today it emerged that after leaving Mr Caine, he simply went home and ordered a takeaway.
I fractured my skull and there was bleeding into my brain as well, so I had to be rushed straight into intensive care and had an operation on my skull. And I also broke my jaw.
This is the young gentleman here.
Michael's attacker handed himself in after this detective spoke to East Midlands today to make a public appeal. Today, Scott appeared in the dock. The court heard that Ricky Scott admitted carrying out the attack here in Nottingham's Lace Market, but claimed he'd been protecting his girlfriend after she was racially abused. His victim insists that's not true, and the police have described Michael Caine as a good Samaritan who was trying to help a woman in distress. Ricky Scott will be back in court to be sentenced for the attack at a later date. Until then, he's been banned from coming into Nottingham city centre at night.
Well, Jeremy is with me now. Jeremy, what did you hear about how the ambulance service responded to this?
Well, Dominic, they weren't called out immediately. One of Michael's friends rang from their hotel later on because he'd been bleeding heavily and he wasn't making sense. But we heard that when paramedics arrived at the hotel, they decided it was nothing serious and they left him in his room. And it was only later, when his condition got worse, that his friend took him to hospital. Doctors realised he'd got those very serious head injuries. And we heard in court today that this has had a huge effect on Michael's life, that he's still recovering several months on. Tonight I've heard from the East Midlands Ambulance Service. They told me that Michael does appear to have received a substandard service, and if that is the case, they say they're very sorry.
OK, Jeremy Bull, thank you.